anyway, we've got Christian's Challenger here again. Yes, again on the dyno, but we've done a few changes since the last time we ran it up. This time we've got the exhaust cutouts. We run it this time with no air cleaner. We've also got Holley Sniper, and we've done a few comparisons of pipes open, pipes closed, air cleaner on, air cleaner off, as well as nitrous on, nitrous off, obviously. So, but anyway, we've developed a few little issues that we found. One of the issues was the Holley Sniper was holding the secondaries open when you back off. Now, it seems to be a bit of a problem with these when you've got a lot of engine vacuum when you back off. It actually holds the secondaries open and the engine sits between 3,000 and 4,000 RPM. But there was a lot of cowboy theories on the internet on how to fix it, which I looked at and went, no, that's just nuts. So we sorted it out ourselves, a nice easy way without having to go too evasive with modifying the EFI unit. One other thing we found is when we were first trying it out, we didn't have full throttle. We only seemed to be able to get up to 95% with the factory Chrysler system. So there has to be an alteration made to the accelerator post, so we have to drop it down to the center of the fulcrum so we get a little bit more throw on the throttle so we can get that extra 5%. At the moment we're at 95%, which was better when we first started it, which was at 80%. The nitrous is adding about roughly about 60 horsepower. We've only got a 75 shot in it at the moment, but the EFI is adding fuel for when it first comes on, because it seems to be when it first comes on, maybe the bottle pressure is a little bit higher. We haven't got a gauge on it as yet, and what's happening is it's on the Holley Sniper graph. It's showing that for a 200th of a second, it's leaning right out to like 18 to 1, which is quite lean, not very good. But and then it overcompensates with fuel from when the solenoid kicks in, so that 200th of a second could be a delay in the solenoids kicking in, or it could be a delay in the sniper rectifying it. So, but it seems to respond well. We've done about probably 20 runs today with it, and I'm pretty happy with. So, a great deal of horsepower? No. But look, we're pretty happy with it. We're making nearly 600 foot-pounds of torque, which we weren't making before, so that's pretty good. The horsepower is good. So we're making 603 horsepower, sorry, which is pretty impressive. So it's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So, but the EFI has made the car a lot more drivable. As I said, you just start it up in the morning, boom. But we've had a few issues with the Sniper. One of the issues was its learn capabilities are too broad. So you'd start it up in the morning and it would completely change the way it runs, and it would be a little bit hard to start. Anyway, so the EFI has just made the car a lot more usable. So as an example, you could get your wife to drive it and she'd be quite comfortable driving it. It's only if you mash the pedal that you're going to get into trouble. But it sounds great, runs great, very happy with it. The air cleaner robbed about 5 horsepower and 2 foot-pounds of torque, which is nothing. The exhaust cutouts open, gained about 15 horsepower. So obviously they work quite well. But overall, as a good street performing car, it's pretty damn wild to drive. Well, with 600 foot-pounds, it's pretty much insane. But it makes its peak torque at about 5,100 and horsepower at the same sort of spot. Look, I'm happy with the way it runs. It's quite good with the nitrous. It seems to feel good on the dyno. We've had a few of the rev limiters set a little bit early, and we're wondering why, as it revved up in the RPM and reached about 6,000 RPM, it sort of had a bit of a fluff about, but that was because we had inconsistencies with our rev limits. So, but they're all sorted out now, so they're all the same. But as I said, the nitrous ducts in well before or ducts out well before the rev limiter hits, so that makes it plenty safe enough. We're only pulling 5 degrees out, right? We're pulling 5 degrees out, and we're only running a 75 shot. So we're only running a very small shot of nitrous at the moment, just to keep the engine safe. The engine's really pushed beyond what its 2-bolt main capabilities can really handle. So we don't really want to push it too much harder. Other than that, we'll have to go to an R3 block or something of that equivalent to keep this thing to hold together, and then we could go to the next stage and get rid of the hydraulic cam and go flat tap it. But otherwise, it runs great. You know, it's actually very interesting because the car was originally, when we were driving it, flashing at about 3,500 when we had the 2.6 diff gears in it when we raced it at Heathcote, and it was pulling the mid to high 11s consistently with 2.6 diff gears, and also too, we had issues with the shifter. So we've got a new lightning bolt shifter in it now, so now we're able to shift a lot more consistent, because when we were shifting gears, what we found is you go to shift gears and the auto would just shift gears by itself, and it would shift at about 3,500 and wouldn't reach the engine's peak power. So you'd go from first gear straight into second at 3,500, and then it'd ramble down the track and then change into third, and then you'd get the power at the sort of, or it'd sort of hold in second, and you get that power before you had to shift it into third. But it wouldn't hold first gear. It was a bit strange. But now with the new lightning bolt shifter that's in it now, it seems to be holding the gears a lot better. There was just a timing issue with the way the gears were set up. These gears are a lot better. So as we're racing down the track, we're able to shift it at 6,000 RPM every change. So bang, 6,000, bang into the next gear, 6,000. And that has completely changed the car. Also too, the 3.9 diff gears has completely changed the car. So from before to now, it's a hell of a lot faster. So next time we're going to have to take it to the racetrack, which we'll film, and we'll see what it does on the track. See if we can crack that magic 10-second, or get into the 10s, or maybe mid-10s, or maybe even quicker. We'll see. So, but changing from 2.6 diff gears to 3.9's got to make it faster. So we'll see how we go. We're here in Christen's 1972 Challenger. So we're just going to go over some of the features that we've done inside the car and changed a few things. Everyone remembers the sort of push button lightning bolts that it had, the Hurst lightning bolts that it had before. But we had a lot of issues with adjustment with the shifter, because it didn't have the factory brackets, and it had been cut and modified and played with that many times that nothing really worked that well anymore. So it was time to update to something a bit newer. So we got this new shifter now. So basically works similar sort of arrangement. So that's locked in low now. So we've got a line locker button, which is disabled at the moment, but that's our line locker, so we can lock the front brakes on to do a burnout. So basically how that works is you flick a switch inside the console. We have to have the ignition on. So that's all flicked on. So basically I put my foot down on the brake. It's not working. Hang on. Sorry. I have to engage the button, so I just press this button here, which turns and activates that button. So put my foot on the brake, lock that on. So that's now front brakes locked on. So now I've got it in first, doing my burnout. Do my burnout. Once I've done the burnout, then I release the switch and it releases the pressure back. Turn the system off, because we don't need that on when we're racing down the drag strip. We've got to make sure we've got all the brakes working. So now that we've got that done, we stage up, we get lined up on our strip, and we just go basically lock the lockout back in, so that way we can't select any further than neutral. So we're on the drag strip, we reach 6,000 RPM. I'm going to change it to second. Again, 6,000 RPM into third, and then at the end of the strip, pull neutral and hit the brakes as hard as you can to stop by the end. So fairly simple, and then it's just we don't push these gears backwards at all. So all we do is we pull that back, and we can engage gears again. So like that. So this is only for pulling this way, not to deactivate the gears. So if we want to deactivate the gears, we have to do it that way. So, and then push them all back. But anyway, that's how it sort of works. As you can see with the Dakota dash, it's all digital, obviously Dakota digital, but it's pretty cool. It's got some pretty cool features in it. It's got it's got your basic trip meter, as well as it tells you when your oil pressure is low. It's got a warning buzzer if your oil pressure is low, if your fuel's low, if your voltage is low. It has all the warning buzzers and bips and stuff that you need. It's got a tacho that goes to 8,000 RPM. Not that we rev this to 8,000. It will rev to 7,000, but we're going to keep it conservative. We've got all the nitrous set up just to work between 5,000 and 6,000 RPM at the moment. We'll see how it goes on the track. It doesn't lose power at 6,000 RPM, put it that way, with the nitrous on. It doesn't lose power. But at the end of the day, we do want to conserve this 2-bolt main 440. So, one of the unique features of the Dakota dash is it can give you a 0 to 100, as well as it can do quarter-mile times on the street. So, how it does that, I'm not exactly sure, but it does work very well. It doesn't seem to do as good a quarter-mile time on the street as it does on the track, though. So, partly due to the thing does not get traction at all. So, it's quite a fun car to drive, but insensitively bad on the tyres. So, you know. But anyway, that's sort of the main features inside the car. As I said, all this can be shut off by turning that off like that. Again, when it goes through to the nitrous purge and how that works, is we've got a button down here that we press, and you can hear the solenoid activate. That's it. Turn it off, Ermi.